Hey guys, Matthew here. So today we'll be doing another episode of which uniques to pick up, and we're going to be going over gloves. So when it comes to gloves, almost all the pair of gloves are actually worth picking up just to four-link them and then, val them. Especially right now in this league, because of the double valing in the temple, you have the possibility of making some pretty sick gloves with the corruptions. But for the later leagues, though, whenever that's pretty much gone and you're back to just valing normally, for single valing. Then obviously, uh, everything that's more offensive is going to be better, at least for softcore. So, for example, gloves with plus increased life and attack speed right now are amazing. But in the future leagues, with just one corruption available, things which just increase life, it's going to be an okay corruption, but it's never going to be an insane corruption just because it's not adding any damage to your stats. While, a single 4 to 6% life roll can be had on like one stat on a jewel. Compared to, attacks have, zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.8 to critical strike chance. That's pretty massive. Same thing for spells. Spells for, caster-based gloves and attacks for, attacker-based gloves. And then +1 frenzy charge for any frenzy charge generating build. Will be like insane. That's going to be probably the most sought after stat, just because one frenzy charge, at least when it comes to attack builds, gives you a ton of damage. So anyways, I'm not really going to go too much over like why, because otherwise the video would get pretty long, but I'm just going to tell you from experience which gloves I do pick up and which gloves I val and the ones that I don't pick up at all. Obviously, this is my opinion. This is what I do, and I'm not really going to be explaining why, because otherwise, the video will go on for a long time. But take my word for it, and if you don't want to take my word for it, just, go on PoE Trade and type in whatever type of gloves I said I was going to pick up or not pick up in the video, and then look at the possible corruptions and look at how much they're worth. Obviously, maybe I'm losing out on some currency at some places for some pair of gloves, which could be worth it with certain corruptions, but that doesn't really matter to me too much, because gloves is the type of thing that just drops all the time. Like, I can get multiple pairs of gloves, unique ones, every map, so they just drop a lot all the time. So I restricted the ones I actually pick up to only the ones that I feel are a definite profit because of current meta, but also just most meta builds that keep being good from league to league. But obviously, if there's a meta switch at some point, maybe certain pairs of gloves would actually be worth picking up more than they are right now. So, Lactonal Caress I pick up. Giant's Bane I don't pick up. Meganord's Vise I don't pick up. Winds of Change I pick up. Empire's Grasp I do not pick those up. Aziri's Acuity, obviously you pick those up, but they're, an Atziri drop, so it's not like they're an Uber Atziri drop even. So it's not like you're going to be getting those while mapping. Doriani's Fist, I don't pick up. Chrysian's Pincers, that's bestiary, doesn't matter. Baruso's Battering Ram, I actually picked those up. Hrimsaro being turned into Hrimburn with the Prophecy. Sometimes I'm just going to val them as Hrimsaro. I'm not even going to turn them into Hrimburn, because most people use this just for the physical damage converted to cold. And there's just not that much, honestly, that you can get from upgrading them. Like, your cold damage can ignite, sure, but like, what else is there? Maybe a few little bits of stats here and there, and whatnot, but it's not that big of a deal. For the pain that it is, buy the Prophecy, run the Prophecy, and then val them. I rather just pick it up, 4-socket them, 4-link them, quality them up. Always quality your gloves to 20%, and then just hit them with a val. Maligaro's Virtuosity, I actually don't pick them up because there's a card in Burials that drop that gives you Maligaro's Virtuosity. And the market is like there's so many that it's just not worth even picking those up. So I stopped picking up Maligaro's. Oscar, I actually not 100% sure where those gloves are from, to be completely honest. It seems the wiki page is very, very empty. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure where these are actually from, but I don't think I've ever seen those. So maybe bestiary. 3.1.0 was a release. So yeah, I can't really tell, honestly. Maybe not. but I don't remember dropping Oscar very often. Sedemius Dutch, yeah, I picked those up and I val those. Dodri's Tenure, no, just nobody uses these. Asenath's Gentle Touch, yes, because if you get a curse corruption, then you can have a double curse on hit corruption on your gloves, with one of them being temp chains, and then it also has a bit of int, a bit of life, which is cool. But then double corruption on those is awesome. Or sorry, double curse, because then if you run anything like +1 curse amulet or just +1 curse on the tree or whatever it might be, you can end up with like a Vuln on hit, or sorry, not Vuln on hit, that would kind of suck, but like an LA hit or LA weakness on hit with temp chains on hit on a single pair of gloves, which is pretty good. Khaleesi's Grace, I actually don't pick those up. Voidbringer, obviously you pick those up. They're even worth something without valuing them, so Voidbringers is one you kind of have to check out. It depends on the meta and stuff. Grip of the Council, well, those aren't actually going to drop while mapping. I believe they're from they're from the Unbreathing Queen prophecy chain, so you don't really have to worry about these too much. That being said, they're maybe worth something. Dodri's Malevolence, that's the upgraded version of Dodri's Tenure. Don't have to worry about that. Allelopathy, definitely one that you do want to pick up and corrupt, especially if you have a good damage over time on there, with good corruption. And with a good corruption, they're worth pretty good amount. Any blight build could use these, especially with a good corruption on them. So definitely one you want to look out after, Allelopathy. Flesh and Spirit, the problem with these gloves, like, they seem amazing, but like some attack speed and some rampage and recover 20% of your max life. The thing is, they're just really low level. It's kind of those leveling items. So it's meh, like nobody really uses these past the very early stages of leveling and stuff. Or sorry, after they're leveled their character, so not really worth picking up that much. Slither Pinch, I don't pick those up. Val Caress, I actually don't know where these are from. Okay, so they're specific to Invasion and Ambush League, so you're not actually going to drop those. Orsays, I don't pick those up. Rarity for reduced movement speed is just not cool. Doomfist, be it 1 socket or 2 socket, can be corrupted. Obviously 2 socket is going to be worth a lot more with a good corruption, but still, even a 1 socket with a good corruption definitely going to be worth something. Hemiphilia, if you hit like Vuln on hit on these, definitely going to be worth quite a bit, as well as if you hit something like attack speed or those kind of rolls. So Hemiphilia, definitely pick those up and corrupt them. Worm Signs can be worth it, actually. Some builds use that, so it's something you have to think about, but personally I stopped picking them up and corrupting them, but you can go for it. Foul's Pounce, you're not actually going to drop those. That's Bestiary League. Surgebringers, Surgebringers, not really. Not a very good pair of gloves. Nobody really uses these too much. It's just a lot of things on there, but like no defensive stats, no life, no resistances. It's just meh. So yeah, I don't pick up Surgebringers. Shackles of the Wretched, I don't pick those up. The Volkers, I'm guessing those are also Bestiary. Or sorry, Pale Court. Yeah. Well, I don't know why I said Bestiary. Those are Pale Court. Yeah. So you're not actually gonna drop the Pale Court gloves unless you run Pale Court, and if you do, always check your rolls, check the stuff on there, and it's might be worth valuing them, might not. I honestly don't know. I don't really run bossing or any type of like Pale Court or anything like that really. The only thing I do is like breaches when it comes to bossing type content. Southbound, I don't pick those up. Null and Void, I believe those are a special, special gloves. They're bound to Rampage League, so you don't have to worry about these too much. They're not actually going to drop while mapping. Sacrowall's Winds is Bestiary, so you don't have to worry about those either. Repentance, Repentance, I'm not sure. I don't personally pick those up. I used to, and then I price checked some of the stuff, then corruptions, and it just didn't seem very worth it. So Repentance is one I stopped picking up. Shaper's Touch, definitely you want to val those, 4-link them, 20% quality, and throw val at them, because they can be worth a good amount with a good corruption, actually. Honor's Clasp is a nice leveling item, but they're not worth anything. Architect's Hands is bound to this current league, Incursions. Not really worth anything, though. Phrase Breakers, Obviously, phase breakers is going to matter a lot on the roll. The physical damage with unarmed attacks roll is going to matter a lot. And then if you get something like a life roll, or like an attack speed roll, or like attacks have percent chance of critical strike chance and stuff like that, definitely a good roll on these with a good corruption is going to net you quite a bit of currency. So you always want to value phase breakers. Shadows and Dust. That is also one that is specific to Rampage League. That being said, if you do get your hands on those, val them because they can be worth a good amount as well. I sold a pair for a couple exalts this league. Shadows and Dust, just like these, because it had a single corruption, which I can't remember what it was. Slave Driver's Hand is an upgraded version of the Architect's Hand, so those aren't actually going to drop. You don't have to worry about that. Finumu's is Bestiary. You don't have to worry about that. The Embalmer, I don't pick those up. There's just not that many, poison, vile, toxin type builds going around that are like amazing. That being said, if there was a switch in the meta, you definitely want to consider picking those up. Blasphemer's Grasp is from the Elder, so yeah, that's why I never really seen those. I'm not a big bossing type of guy. Definitely pick those up. Probably worth valuing. Typically, anything that's a pair of gloves that has any use to any build is going to be worth it if you val them. So why not? Snakebite is actually one that you can val, because if you get like +1 frenzy charge on there, they can actually be worth something. Personally, I stopped picking them up as the league went on, just because they drop very, very often, and it was kind of annoying to have to, link them and socket them and all that every time. Because you can't just spam fusings when it comes to 4-link items. If you 4-link it, you can still keep fusing it into like a 2-link, like two links or no links and things of that nature. So gloves are a bit annoying. You have to worry about that whenever you're fusing them or linking them. But yeah, you can consider picking those up and valuing them. Malachi's Mark is actually, I don't know where that's from. Doesn't seem like the wiki page is going to help us on that either, so I can't really help you with Malachi's Mark. That being said, it looks like some boss type of drops, so definitely you want to consider valuing those. Probably a good idea to do that. Thunder Fist is one of the ones that I would always val. This is basically the equivalent of, where are they? Of Sedima's Touch. You always want to val them. Just because there's just no roll on it. First off, like the energy shield roll is 25 to 30, so it really doesn't matter. And then if you get something like elemental weakness on hit, on these, they're worth like a lot, like multiple exalts. And then this league, if you were to get a double corruption with something like, for example, attack speed or life, then they'd be worth like a ton. The reason is people who play KB can use these as their entire damage links for their KB, just because it gives you a ton of lightning damage to attacks. It's basically like a free 5-link with an attack speed roll. So if you get like elemental weakness on hit, definitely very, very good. Also, when it comes to Sedima's Touch, one thing I wanted to add, I typically only val these if they're 15% quantity and higher, and as the league goes on, like after the first 2-3 weeks, I only val them when they're 16% quantity, because people who do MF actually value 1% quantity a lot. And if you were to val, for example, a 12% pair of gloves like these with like +1 frenzy, you might even just be stuck with it and never be able to sell it, because 12% is a lot like lower than 16% when it comes to quantity people who maximize quantity whenever they're mapping, such as magic finders. So it's one thing to keep in mind. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for the video when it comes to gloves. Like I said, I didn't explain that much. I just told you guys like which one I pick up and not pick up, because I didn't want the video to last forever. It's already been like 14 minutes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you learned a little something. Be sure to, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can also check out my Twitch. It's in the video description. Whenever the 1-month race hits, I'm not actually sure when that is. We're probably going to be doing daily stream. Like, I don't want to put out any promise, because I'm still feeling a bit iffy. But I'm really hoping to be on on the grind for streaming whenever the 1 month league hits or 1 month race hits, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. So yeah, it's going to be it for the video, and it's going to be Matthew signing out. Until the next one.